Got it.
This meeting is being live streamed
Do you
on
agree?
YouTube.
Do you accept? Quick.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yes.
There we are. Oh, we gotta
Okay.
mute. Hold on.
Yeah, gotta mute ourselves
sorry,
because then we
muted.
hear
All right.
the background or the replay. Real. All righty. Here we go.
There we go. We are good.
We are live with Design Your Life podcast and see the art in you. And my name is Amy Latino, and I'm the owner of Dish It Out Coaching. And our other beautiful co-host, Jacki.
Hello.
She's the technical person, not me.
Yeah, I'm like really not, because I'm going, where did you go? There you are.
So Jackie's in Alabama.
Yes, I'm visiting my in-laws for a wedding on Saturday. So I have the lovely background. I did not have to make a cute background because I already have one on this beautiful little acreage of my father-in-law's. So yes, I decided to go natural today and have a nice little pasture in the background. Super excited.
I love it.
So
I love it. And it's so exciting. Thank you so much for taking time out of your little vacation there to continue our podcast and continue our jaunt through the wholeness wheel. So absolutely. I really appreciate that.
I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's been fun. So I'm excited to talk today about our spiritual and physical health, because wow, what a subject.
Yes, it is a wow subject, as we say here in Italy. It's a 3-wower. But first, I'd like to go through our disclaimer. This information is educational material only, and it is not intended to take place of advice from your own healthcare provider or physician, or to be a means of diagnosis or treatment for illnesses. Seek medical care from qualified professionals if you have a health condition or symptoms. The Wholeness School Design Your Life podcast does not accept responsibility for your health, how you choose to use the information contained in the material, or your medical outcomes resulting from applying this information. So you are your own guardian in this. Basically is what I'm saying.
And yeah, I mean, totally. We all need to do our own research, right? Because everybody's bodies are different. Everybody has different needs and everything else. So there's no one size fits all. But
yeah, absolutely. So the under the umbrella of health that we've talked about, we've already talked about our mental and our emotional health, and that was last week. And this week is our spiritual and our physical health. And so we've laid the foundation for our self-image, and now we're starting to build up here a little bit at a time. And I really love this particular, these two together, the spiritual and the physical, because they're so integrated to each other. And I wanted to bring in, especially scripture for the spiritual part of it, that's going to segue right into the physical part of who we are. And Jackie's allowed me to read a couple of passages here from Jeremiah and from Romans. So Jeremiah 29, our Lord is speaking to Jeremiah. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and to not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me. When you seek me with all your heart, I will be found by you. If you take that in light of Romans 12, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what is the good, pleasing, and the perfect will of God. Like, that is just mind-blowing, because, here he says in Jeremiah, you will seek me, you will find me. And when you do find me, you will find me with your whole heart, and I will be found. It's not like, well, maybe, it's not.
There's no doubt in that. Absolutely.
There's a declaration. There is this is a claim, and this is a stake that I'm putting down here. You're going to find me if you seek me, and you will know what is good and pleasing by that or by that renewal of your mind. And I think that is just so beautiful, and how we can segue that into our spiritual, our physical, both our spiritual and our physical health. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, if I can add real quick.
Actually,
I was so amazed, like in the masterclass, whether it was the training or the masterclass itself, just the part where they were talking about the studies of all of the different places where people are their healthiest and everything else. And like the number one thing was, even though they had diverse faiths, not necessarily just one faith, but like all the different faiths in different countries and stuff, but all of them had that faith. They had that connection. They had that spiritual life that they were developing in addition to all of their other healthy activities that they do. And it's just a part of their culture, like, the healthy activities, but it's incredible. So yeah.
Yeah. When I was listening to that, my mind was really blown by that as well. And there is certain that she called the 5 blue areas. And there are particular areas in the world where people are living to, late in their 90s, even into their hundreds, without disease. And well, why is that? And it's that invitation to get curious about that particular reasons why. And that, kind of dives right into that kind of dieting mindset that the Western world seems to have. And I really love this because just the other day when I was listening to the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, one of the things that Mark David had said in with regards to dieting, perfectionism in dieting is the idea that we have an ideal body or an ideal weight. The one reason why we go there is because we don't have a good connection with our higher power. It's almost like saying, if I can't have a connection to God, that I'm going to be God. And I thought that was a powerful statement to say, like, wow, we got to check ourselves, and we have to have that spiritual connection with God, that spiritual roadmap, as they were talking about in the women's school, is that if you think about a roadmap, so we have our spiritual roadmap, and that is, what's your end game? Where are you going? It's your GPS, right? So we have that spiritual roadmap, and then our mental health is the driver. Mental clarity is paramount to be able to read a map and drive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, our physical health is that vehicle. Our physical health is the vehicle. And are you fueling it correctly? And are the tires, working in its optimal air, and then we have the emotional health, which is the engine. And how are you taking care of this? And what are you fueling it with? And so if you have that image of a car, and you're going on this trip, you have your spiritual health, which is your roadmap, your mental health is the driver, your physical health is the vehicle, and your emotional health is the engine. So it makes it really clear on, how are you going to get there? What are you going to fuel it with? And that dives right into that, the 4 core areas, 5. There are 5 core areas. Hold on. Where are they? The sleep, the movement, the block time, the standing breaks per hour, and the prayer. And we'll get into that a little in a little while. Did you have anything to add with the spiritual health?
No, I think you covered everything. That was pretty good. Actually, that was excellent. Not just pretty good. But okay, the only thing I'll say about that, because I should add something, is just that visual is so incredible, because a lot of times visuals will really help us to be able to remember or to think about, what was it, I learned from Jacki and Amy.
It's a car.
Yeah, it's a car, and all of the things that go along with it, because our bodies are like cars in that regard, with the fueling, having to have a driver. Like, God is they say God is my co-pilot. God is my driver, like Jesus is the wheel.
Right.
That's where he's driving, the driving force, or he should be the driving force in our lives, so that when we're doing things, we're going to, well, now to wrap in all the scripture and everything that you mentioned, like, it's really important, and we don't necessarily think about that every day.
Right.
And how the spiritual really impacts our physical health too. So, I saw something, and this was really powerful, so I wanted to share it today. I don't remember where I saw it, but I think it was a saint or something that had shared it. Or it was somebody who was reading about the saints. And they said that if you, like, when you feel really like just exhausted, burnout, like you just don't have the energy to do something, pray and just ask God, can you just give me the energy to do this one thing, that's so important in my day? And I'm going to tell you, it works. Because there were a few times, recently where I said, oh, let me try that out and see how it works. And I was able to find that energy to do it because, it's God. He can do all things. We cannot.
Right.
And like I know that there are times where there are reasons why you can't do things, health wise and things like that. But for the most part, like, if we're talking your everyday kind of like, I just didn't get enough sleep last night, I don't have the energy, whatever, that kind of thing. I'm certainly not talking about illnesses and diseases and things like that. That's a whole different, realm.
That's a whole different arm.
Thing. So that's
part of But it's interesting because in that prayer, it's like you were seeking, you were knocking, and he was found.
Right.
He was found because he said that I will be found. Right. If you seek me, if you knock, I will be found.
Yeah.
So again, it's that declaration of, knowing that he wants to be found.
Right.
It's not, the immature, hide and go seek. It's I want you to find me. I want you to move to find me. And and that requires a level of awareness.
Yes.
That we had talked about in the last couple of episodes. And that awareness is key. And it's so important to understand where we're going and in that travel, in that roadmap of, that spiritual health. And those 4 areas of health are deeply connected to one another. And they are the building blocks for the rest of the whole woman, of who she is. And then, we did talk about that awareness and how nutrition is going to play a very, very important part. And nutrition isn't just about, at least this is what I'm learning in my Institute for the Psychology of Eating. It's not just what you're eating, it's also how and when you're eating. Because when we're in that constant state of stress, we're engaging the sympathetic nervous system. And that's when everything starts to, I'm so stressed, and everything starts to, dump into our stomach. That cortisol starts to dump into our stomach, and it winds up holding all the fat. It winds up holding all the things because it's in a stressful mode. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to do all of this just to protect myself. When we're in that constant state of stress, that's not good. I mean, stress is good in of itself. At times, it helps us motivate. It motivates us to do things. So a little bit of stress here and there is fine. But when we're in that constant state of stress, it's not okay. It's just not okay. So what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to get into what's called a parasympathetic nervous system dominance. And that's when you're breathing and you're relaxing. And it doesn't take long to get into a parasympathetic nervous system dominance. So what I teach my students is certain breathing techniques that can be done right before you eat your meals. Of course, prayer is always beneficial when you're trying to calm yourself down, just taking that deep breath, just living that life slower. You can eat slower. And when we say eat slower, it doesn't mean like, oh, I have to chew 50 times. No, it's just relaxing into that eating, enjoying that food. Your brain is also scanning the food. So your digestion is starting way before it gets into your mouth and into your stomach. Your brain is already sending chemicals everywhere when it sees the food, and then it consumes. And your brain's like, okay, what is this? Where am I going to take this? How is this going to benefit us? All of that communication is happening within, nanoseconds within your body. And it's absolutely phenomenal. All of the research that's done in how your digestion is playing a huge, huge part in not only what you eat, when you eat, and how you eat. So we can go into what to eat, which is something that I really, really liked diving into. We talked about having all the dark fruits, your blueberries, your raspberries, your strawberries, your grapes, your darker grapes, herbs and spices that can add so much to the meal, but also for inflammation. You can find spices and herbs that just really kind of complement each other for inflammation. Legumes. Sometimes legumes are good for people and sometimes they're not. Go ahead and take them out or put them in. That's another thing that Jacki and I are not going to do during this half hour, is to tell you what to take out of your diet. Right. If anything, we can probably tell you what to put into your diet. Exactly. And that's, your good oils, your nuts and seeds, smoothies, herbal teas, whole grains, salts in its natural form, and of course, veggies. One of the things, like, this is kind of common sense, but not commonly used. Mm-hmm. Staying in the perimeter of your grocery store is also a really good way to just kind of keep yourself eating the rainbow. Try to stay away from all that's, kind of within the grocery store. I had recently posted on my Dish It Out, all of the GMO is now being labeled as chemically engineered food or something of that nature. And every single one of those was processed food. I mean, it's just processed. And it's ultimately processed, because we can say, well, we process meat. Yes, we do. But it's to what degree are we processing? Are we processing like 10, 12 different ingredients all into one thing? No, it's to the slaughterhouse and to your table. That's a processing. So there is that difference. Also, too, when we eat the rainbow, make sure that we're eating the reds, because that helps with immunity. Yellows are rich in fiber. Oranges are reproductive health. Green, of course, is king. And what I found fascinating, too, was the darker the green is, the better, because then it's filled with chlorophyll. And that chlorophyll is, you're literally eating light. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so true. Ding, 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 ding. And a little tip here to go a long way. Eating these fruits and vegetables are wonderful, but another great way, and another thing that you can add into your daily intake, is try fermenting. Grab yourself a fermenting kit and start fermenting your veggies, because those provide great, wonderful gut flora bacteria that's just really good for you. So that's what I'm going to say in that health department. Do you have anything to add to that, Jacki?
I mean, there's so much you could say about it, but like you said, we're not going to go into all of the little nitty-gritty details about it. But one of the things that I was thinking about while you were saying these things is just how beautiful it is to journey with someone else on this, because, there's so much information out there. And, and sometimes we don't do the research because it's overwhelming. Yeah. And so have just a simplified version, like if you don't have any dietary restrictions or any allergies or things like that, of course, this is mostly just, the average everyday Joe who can follow this kind of advice with those things. Obviously, there are people who have allergies to different fruits and vegetables and, sensitivity, like you said, and everything. But what I find incredible is just to have like these, like how God designed our bodies so perfectly to take these things in, and we, maybe we laugh sometimes, especially when we're younger, about, oh, yeah, eat God's food and all that kind of stuff. But hey, let's admit it, Twinkies, and do they still make those? I don't know. Hostess cupcakes, they're super good. Like I fight my kids all the time because that's what they want to eat. And, and maybe in the future, I don't know, this is probably like off topic a little bit, but I'll tell you, there's something we've been taking like to help with the fruits and vegetables, with the, and we'll have our friends on one day to talk about that, how you can bring in more fruits and vegetables to your diet. But just, one of the things we do is like smoothies, because it's just so easy to pack so much fruit and vegetable into that, especially the key of spinach and kale. And, like my kids don't really like the taste of that, but when we make smoothies, they're more willing to drink them. Well, they used to be. I think they're a little harder now, but anyway, it's just easier to incorporate. And I think one of the keys too is there's so much you can do. Like, I think that's where it becomes overwhelming too. There's so many things you can do. You can eat better. You can eat the rainbow. You can do all of these things. But the key is start implementing them just like one thing at a time, a little bit at a time, so that you're not overwhelmed, because you do, like, you need to research what you're putting on your body. Your skin is your biggest organ. It's like absorbing things, so you need to, there's Ranger. So there's, there are all these things that you can do, but you got to start slow, because if you don't, you're, it's all or nothing. And then, you just overwhelm.
Oh my gosh. Right.
So it's that's something I felt was so key, and listening to everything you're saying. I'm like, I love all of this. I love all of this, but then I get over.
I want to do it now.
Because I want to do it all right now. I want to be healthy tomorrow.
Right. So let's do this right now. But that small.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, poor Jamie this morning, as I'm like, still preparing for what am I going to mention today? And I'm just like, we got to get healthy. We got to do this. It's just like, yeah. And I'm like, but don't worry, one thing at a time. I'm just telling you all of it at once. But I promise you, I will do one step at a time. Okay.
One step at a time. I love that. Yeah. Because small, smart choices plus consistency plus time, it makes a radical difference within our life.
That was so much clearer than what I just said. No. Unfortunately, to the point. No,
Yes, I love that you mentioned that, Jackie, those small steps. And again, as I'm throwing out all this stuff, you have to take into your consideration of what your body can handle. You will read that fasting is great, and then you will read that fasting is horrible. You will read that no meat is great, and then you will read that we should just have meat and that's it. So there is so much conflicting information out there. So who is right? Who is, so get curious, start doing your own investigation. There's great information out there. One of the things that I really suggest with my clients is called the slow down diet. It's just eating natural things. It's just slowing down. It also takes more of an 80-20 approach, where 80% of your food is good and healthy, healthy and good quality food.
Right.
And if any, it could be, made at home. I am a sucker and a lover of convenience, man. If I can just push that easy button, I will. And oh girl, that temptation to, being here in Italy, I have to say that it's definitely broken my habit of quick fixes.
Yeah.
I can't just go to the side of the road and pick up my McDonald's or, Dunkin' Donuts coffee all the time. No, I actually have to get out of my car, which I'm not going to do. So I'm not going to be going and I'll just wait until I get home.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and you walk so much there too, because like
Yeah.
when you go into town, because I know you live out in the country there, but
Mhm.
when you go into town, you basically have to find a parking spot and hold on to it for the rest of the time you're there. You're not driving from one store to the next.
No.
You are walking.
You are going to walk, and you had better make sure that you got some really good shoes on, because man, it's brutal. It can be really brutal here in that area. But
The girls can really rock those boots, let me tell you.
a little quick side note. Last year, it was we went to a festival of some sort, and I swear this lady was like 80 something years old now, and she had these stilettos on, and the cobblestone streets. That's what I was like,
how?
Oh man, I really need to skill up, man.
Right? Oh my goodness. For
and
sure.
She was like this itty bitty little thing too. And I was like, I love her.
Oh my goodness, yes. The Italian women for sure. We remember those very greatly from our days there. That was one thing, like in the evenings when we would go into Gaeta, the town we were in, everybody was walking, they were strolling along, it was just such a beautiful thing. And that's one of the you might have had this on your list to talk about too, but I know one of the key things that we were learning and talking about and stuff, excuse me, was just like, to basically find those little things like the walk for 30 minutes or get out, get your vitamin D and things like that. So
yes, because we are all deficient in vitamin D, but you also have to have your magnesium in order for the D to be absorbed into your bloodstream too. So make sure your vitamin Ds and your magnesiums and your vitamin Bs, all the things, and you can get a major portion of those through your fishes and green, the dark leafy greens, in addition to any supplements that you might be taking. A couple of other things, because we're going to be getting off pretty soon, that we want to expound upon is, why is it necessary for me to have vibrant energy? Why? You have to find out why, so you can do the physical exertion with our divine purpose. We need to have that vibrant energy to be able to enter into that mission that God has called us to, is to seek him first, right? And for his plan to prosper in your life. So you need that vitality, and we need that skilling up. And how do we do that? We get a coach. We get somebody who's going to hold us accountable. We start planning, and we start making an action plan. We start making that road map to that spiritual journey with what we have as our car. We've got to fuel it right. We've got to, do all of those really good things for this to move along in that direction towards God, towards heaven, and bringing our family along with us. And I got a big van. So, Jacki, you're on.
Sorry. I had mute because I didn't want to have any, background noise or anything. So I didn't want to interrupt your beautiful talk there.
Another thing that we're going to just expound upon is the sleep, making sure that we have 7 to 9 hours. It depends on what research you're doing, between 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night, and making sure that it's quality sleep, making sure that we are, this is a big one for me too, is making sure that our devices are off at least an hour before we are headed to bed. Our movement should be either walking in nature or being involved in nature. That is so key for for the beauty to grow within us, is not only to see the art of who we are in ourselves, in light of who Christ is, but also seeing the art in the outside as well. There's so much more to talk about on this.
I know. We got to 30 minutes. We have like a 5-hour topic, right?
Right. Of all the topics that we had to cut down on.
I know, right? Well, that's okay. That just leaves you wanting more, right?
That's right. That's right. So, you know, if you guys really do want to know more, you want to dive deep into this, you know, check out Jacki's Women of Worth coaching.com. My coaching is dishitoutcoaching.com. Also, too, I know Jacki and myself, we also have, because we both do the same thing, women's school. The women's school in of itself, the umbrella of the women's school, is holding a 4-week mini course. It's free coaching. So please take advantage of that, ladies.
Yes.
I mean,
get us as part of the deal, which is not an easy thing. So yeah.
Like really.
Yeah.
Take advantage of this. We need this. We need this in our, especially within our time right now of questioning what is a woman, and being able to stand up for all that the previous women in our past had worked for, and viva la difference in both men and women, really upholding our dignity as women too. So that's going on. And also one of my courses is self-image. You are your body is an instrument, not an ornament. So doing a course on that, and that starts October 14th. So check it out on my website. Do you have any particular groups going on or coming up?
I have some coming up. I'm going to be doing the managing overwhelm, drawing boundaries, and something about action, overcoming inaction. Of course, that's the one I forget the name of, right? Get acting.
That's awesome. Get acting, baby.
Those will be coming up. I'll be announcing the dates for those once I have figured out when I can fit all that in. But yeah, it'll be a great gift to join your group. And I'll tell you what, we'll absolutely look forward to that. And everybody that wants to deal with overwhelm and boundaries and skilling up with inaction. I mean, sometimes you get so overwhelmed you can't move forward. So
that freeze mode, like, oh, I can't do it. I totally get it. I know it.
Especially with this, right? Just implement those little things. That's our closing motto to you. Just implement the little things, one thing at a time.
Yeah. And do your research. And if you need any, if you need any help, reach out and we will be glad, over the moon, to help you out. As always, God bless. And we will see you on the other side of next week.
See you next week. Bye. Bye.